Okay, so children, in the previous class, we had studied about the three different types of weathering. We saw physical weathering, then we saw chemical weathering, and then we saw biological weathering, right? Do you all remember that, what we had studied in the
Yes.
previous class? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Good. So today, now we will study about the effect of weathering. Now, when weathering happens in the form of physical, chemical, or in the form of biological weathering, now we will see what are the effects of weathering. Number one is, because of weathering, we have erosion taking place. Okay, erosion is what? Erosion is a removal and transportation of weathered rock material from their place of origin to a new place by forces of nature. Okay, so in erosion, what happens is basically the rock material, okay, it gets transported from one place to the other place, okay, from the origin place to the new place. How it happens? It happens because of the forces of nature. Okay, that is basically is erosion. So please underline that: erosion, transportation of weathered rock. Just underline transportation of weathered rock from one place to another place by forces of nature. All right, so in erosion, this happens where the rocks gets transported from one place to another place because of the forces of nature. Forces of nature can be what? Can you give me example? What could be the forces of nature, children?
Earthquake,
Yes,
landslide.
very good. Yes, very good. Okay, it could be either, through waterways, it could be either through winds, right? The rock gets,
Mosquito.
yes. Next is soil formation. Okay, now weathering provides raw material for soil formation. Now the particles of the rock mix with the organic remains of plants and animals, creating soil which supports life on earth. It takes many centuries to form a thin layer of soil. Now, see, because of weathering, another effect of weathering is also that it results in soil formation. How it results in soil formation? Because of weathering, the raw material. Okay, weathering, because of weathering, what happens? We get the raw material, and this raw material is responsible for the formation of soil. Now, how this happens? See, the particles of the rock, they mix up with the organic remains of plants and animals. Please underline this. The particles of the rock, they mix up with the organic remains of plants and animals. Okay, and because of that, they create a soil. All right, now this is how, soil formation happens because of weathering. Okay, now this particular soil formation, it takes, centuries to just form one thin layer of the soil. Clear? Underline that. It takes many centuries to form one thin layer of the soil. Clear till here, everyone? Has
Yes.
done. Okay. Next is, weathering loosens rock materials and weakens the rock. So if there is a rock, what happens is, because of weathering, the rock gets loose and the rock gets weakened. All right. Now, as the material collects on the slope, it can begin to move slowly or rapidly due to gravity, depending on the slope of the land, causing the landslide. Have you all heard about landslide? Have you all
Yes, ma'am.
seen landslides? Yeah, very good, Mishti, for replying. So, what happens in a landslide? How the rocks fall? Because of,
Landslide.
yes, because this slope, because of the slope. And why the rocks fall? Because the rock gets
Weak.
loose and they get weak, right? And therefore the rock falls. They can either, they start moving slowly, and then they fall on the
Suddenly.
land rapidly. Why? Because of the gravity. You, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Whenever there is, because of gravity, the rocks which gets loosened and weakened, they fall on the ground, on the land. And that is the reason landsliding happens. Have you all seen any landsliding?
Yes, ma'am, in the news and thing.
Yes, yes, yes. So this usually happens. See, now you understood why landslide happens. It is just because of the
Weekend.
weathering. Okay, so please underline this. Weathering loosens rock materials and weakens the rock. Okay, and weakens the rock. Now, what happens is this, as the rock gets weakened, what happens is the rock begin to move. Underline this. It begin to move slowly and rapidly due to gravity. It begins to move slowly and rapidly due to gravity. And this is responsible for causing landslide. Okay. So now you understood how landslides happen because of weathering, children?
Yes,
Yes?
ma'am.
Okay. Now we will see the next topic of it. Okay, basically rocks and boulders with soil move along slopes causing slopes rapidly causing damage to life and property. An entire hillside can vanish in minutes, especially if the area has been deforested. Okay, so this landslides also happen because of deforestation. Have you heard about this? If at all deforestation is done on the hillside station, what happens is it loosens the rock. Okay, and as you all know, if there is landslide, what happens because of landslide? There is a damage to life and property. Yes or no? If
Yes.
there are people traveling, they will also, have. So please underline this. It causes damage to life and property. All right, and an entire hillside will vanish if at all there is deforestation. Clear? Clear till here? Do not underline that. Clear till here, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we will see mudslide. Now, deposits of soil like silt, rocks, organic matter with clay are sometimes saturated with water and move down slopes with rapid speed, overcoming everything in their path. So what happens is, see, whenever there are deposits, okay, of soil in the form of, a silt, or either in the form of a rock or in a form of a organic matter, okay, they all these, sometimes mix and they saturate because of water and move down the slopes rapidly, overcoming everything in their path. So, have you seen that mudslide? Have you seen the sliding?
Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
heard
In the
about
rainy
this?
season. In rainy season.
Yes. So why this mudslide happens? Because of the deposit, okay, of soil, whether it is in the form of rocks or whether it is in the form of any organic matter. When they get saturate with because of the help of the water, you must be seeing this usually in rainy seasons, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am, they happen like avalanches.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So they move down the slope rapidly, and whatever comes in their way, they take that also. So this is again caused because of weathering. Okay. So please underline saturated with water and move down the slopes, overcoming everything in their path. Okay. So this is how the mudslide happens. So these are all the effects of weathering. Have you all understood, children?
Yes,
Okay, let us just revise. What are the effects of weathering? Number one.
erosion,
Okay, number two.
soil formation,
Number three.
landslide,
And number four,
mudslide.
mudslides. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we'll do the question answers. Just scroll down. All right. Number one is do a reference on any one of the following. Okay, that means you need to explain any one of the following. Okay. You have to learn all these, whether it is mechanical weathering is also called as dash.
Physical weathering.
Excellent, Asta, excellent, very good. It is also called as physical weathering. Next is chemical weathering and biological weathering. Clear? You need to write a short note on all these three topics. Next is select by your choice by ticking in the relevant checkbox. But I want you to do all the three, not just one. Okay, find
Okay.
out. Yeah, find out about. Now, if you will take any one, so you will take any one of that, and what you're going to do, various causes of that particular weathering. For example, physical weathering or mechanical weathering. If you're doing, you will first write down the causes. Okay, then you will do the classification, the types. Okay, and its effect. Okay, so you are going to do this for all the three children. Don't just do for one, because that will help you out in your exams. Okay, you're going to write down the causes, you're going to write down the types, and then you're going to write down its impact. It is given in your textbook as it is, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is organize the information you found out in any one of the following formats, in the form of a tree diagram, graphic organization, or table. See, this will help you all out even for your exams. Whether it is physical weathering, whether it is chemical weathering or biological weathering, just draw a mind map for it. It can be in the form of a tree diagram, it can be in the form of a graphic organizer, or it can be in the form of a table. Clear?
Okay.
Next is find and bring pictures that could serve as examples of weathering you investigated in class. So this, you can skip this question. Okay, because this needs physical. Next is present your information in the format that you organized it. Use the pictures you got from okay, you can skip this as well. Next is write 2 points of comparison between mechanical weathering and chemical weathering. So you will definitely get a differentiation. Okay, in your exam, you might get a differentiation where they can ask you to differentiate between mechanical weathering and chemical weathering. So each of the, for each one, you have to write two points, children. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this question, you are going to write it in a differentiation form. You're going to draw a line in between. One hand, you are going to write mechanical weathering. On the second hand, you are going to write chemical weathering, and you are going to write the pointers. Okay. You all want me to give you all the page number, or you all know the page numbers?
No, ma'am, we know.
Okay, okay. Okay. Now, what are the different types of biological weathering? Can you just tell me what are the different types of biological weathering? We did that. Yes. Yes,
Plants,
Sydney?
animals, human.
And human life. Clear? So you need to explain each of this. Okay, give a heading and then explain. You have it as it is given in your textbook. The pointers are there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you just need to write as it is, the way it is given in your textbook. Clear, everyone, till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next is soil. Now, soil, a key natural resource. Let's understand the meaning. What does soil mean? Okay, soil is the topmost layer of the earth's crust. Okay, if the earth's crust has the topmost layer of the earth's crust is what? It is the soil, which comprises, and in soil what do we have? You have rock particles, you have organic matters, that means all the remains of the living things. So please underline this entire definition of soil. What is a soil? Who will tell me what is a soil?
Topmost.
Soil is the topmost layer of the Earth's crust, which comprises rock particles and organic matter.
Matter.
Yes,
The
clear?
remain-
Clear, everyone? Understood what does what do we mean by soil?
Yes,
Now we
ma'am.
will understand in depth. It is a valuable resource, and living things depend on it for the survival. Soil is formed over thousands of years due to continuous weathering of rocks, which break down over time and mix with the organic matter to produce a material suitable for the growth of the plants. This we just read about it while we were doing the effects of weathering, isn't it? So how is soil formed? Because of weathering. What happens is, because of weathering, the rocks are broken down, and those rocks, the broken down, the pieces of rocks, they get mixed up with the organic matter. Organic matter means the living things, the remains of the living things. Now when they mix with the organic matter, they produce a material which is called as soil. Okay, and this soil is helpful for what? For the growth of plants, isn't it? Whenever you're planting a tree, for that you require what? Basic thing.
Soil.
Ma'am, soil, water.
Yes. So
Sunlight.
please underline this. Due to continuous weathering of rocks, which break down over the time. So because of weathering, the rock gets broken down, and then this rock mixes with the organic matter. Please underline the whole thing. It mixes with the organic matter to produce a material which is suitable for the growth of the plants. Clear? So this is one, this same sentence we had done, the same point we had done in effects of weathering, if you remember. Soil formation, right? Weathering, because of weathering, you have, what is the effect of weathering? One was soil formation, right? So this the same point gets repeated over here. Clear to you, everyone?
Yes.
All right. Next is, we are going to study about the 4 stages of soil formation. So we are going to see the stages of soil, and we are going to understand how exactly the soil is formed. Okay. Number 1, that is the first stage, is what? Weathering or disintegration of the bedrock. That is the solid or unbroken rock layer that lies beneath the soil layers. Can you see the diagram? Number 1. Yeah. Can you see the number 1? Bedrock. Can you see it is in the form of a whole rock? It is not broken. Guess? Am I audible to you all, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the first stage. All right. Where there is disintegration of the bedrock. Here you can see that there like from this stage the weathering will begin. Okay, here the rock is in a form of a hole, and if you see stage 2, can you compare stage 2 where the rock is getting mixed up with the organic matter? That is the remains of living things. Can you see that? Can you make out that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now
Ma'am.
we'll go on to the second point, and then we'll come back here. Second point is, organic matter helps to break up quicker. So can you see the rock in the second stage? The rock is getting broken because of the organic matter. Can you see? Can you make out the
Yes.
difference?
Yes,
First
ma'am.
and second? Yes. So because of the organic matter, now the rock is getting broken, right? And it is getting mixed up. Now we will see third stage what happens. Can we read it? Yes. Third stage, water percolates. Percolates means water seeps into the rock. Okay, quickening the process of weathering. Particles break off horizons, that is layers of soil begin to form. Bacteria grow and react with organic material forming humus. Okay, this is very important. Third stage mein what is happening? See, second stage mein what happens? The organic matter is getting mixed up with the rock. Okay, and third stage, third stage what happens? Water is being involved. Okay, water plays a very important role here. So because of water, what happens? The water percolates inside the rock. All right, and therefore it forms 2 different layers. You know, there are bacteria coming up, and humus, it basically it leads to the formation of humus. Can you see A horizon, C horizon? Can you see
Yes,
the
ma'am.
stages? Can you see humus? Okay, so
Yes.
here mineral are fragmenting and with the organic matter, and there is a formation of humus. Can you see how the rock is turning into a soil at the third stage? slowly and gradually. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now we'll see the fourth stage. Water percolates through the mix of the rock particles and humus distributing minerals. Can you see? More water gets percolated and there is a formation of three different layers. Can you see horizon A? The color is slightly different.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Horizon,
ma'am. The colors are different in each horizon.
yes. So horizon B is formed in fourth stage. Can you see? In third stage, you have only two layers, but in fourth stage, you have how many layers, children?
3.
Three
3.
layers. Can you see horizon C, horizon B, and horizon A are all with three different colors? Yes. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is how the soils are formed, and these are the different stages of soils. Have you all understood, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I'll just ask you all to underline. You will get a question in your exams to explain the stages of soil formation. You will have to write in this particular format, stage 1, stage 2, with, pointers. So stage 1, please underline this. Weathering or disintegration of bedrock. Okay, this happens in the first stage. Second stage, what happens is organic matter helps the rock to break. Because of the organic matter, the rocks are getting broken down. Please underline.
Yes.
Next, third stage, what is happening? This is very important. Water is percolating, and because of water percolating into that, it results in the process of weathering. Please underline this. Water percolates, quickening the process of weathering. Okay, particles break off. All right, bacteria grow and react with the organic material, forming humus. Okay, and this stage is the beginning of the horizons, isn't it? Third stage is the beginning of horizons. You get two different layers in the third stage. Fourth stage, water percolates and mix with the rock materials.
And ma'am, this is why the B horizon forms.
Yes, because of this, the horizon B is being formed. Clear now, everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, please remember the diagram also. And you are going to draw this diagram in your notebooks, all the diagrams which are there in this chapter. Wherever I'm asking you to draw, please make sure that you all practice these diagrams. They are very, very important. Can you scroll down, please? Okay, next is the following factors affect the soil formation. Now we saw that, okay, how soil is being formed. Now we will see what are the factors which, affects the formation of soil. So, number one is the parent material. Number two is the climate. Can you just show the diagram? Yes. Number one is parent material. Number two, climate. Number three, topography. Number four, organisms. And number five, the time. So these are all the factors which affect the soil formation. So this is already in a form of a diagram. It will help you all to remember the pointers. Now we will see each of this in detail. Number one, the parent material. The parent material is the original matter from which the soil has been formed. Please underline. What is parent material? It is the original matter from which the soil has been formed. Okay. Next is most of the mineral matter comes originally from the bedrock and later mixes with the organic matter. This parent material determines what type of a soil is formed. So see what happens is this is parent material is the original matter. Now with the original matter, what mixes up is the organic matter. Please underline this. It later mixes with the organic matter. Now later mixes with organic matter. Please underline. Okay. So Basically, parent material is the original matter, and this original matter mixes with the organic matter. All right, and this mixture, okay, this parent material, this is also important. It determines which type of a soil will be found. You know, there are different types of soils, even the colors. Do you know there are different types of soils?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please underline this. This parent material determines what type of a soil is formed. Okay, next is the nature of the soil depends to a large extent on the climate. Do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
if the climate is rainy, ma'am, the mud will be very
Hmm.
squishy type. And
Hmm.
if it is like a desert, ma'am, barren, the mud won't be that squishy.
True, true. Got it? So we will understand this how climate plays an important role in formation of soil. Okay, so please underline this. Soil, the nature of soil depends to a large extent on climate. Next is temperature. Please underline temperature and rainfall in the region where it is formed. Weathering is affected by both these factors in which in turn affect soil formation. So climate means what? Basically temperature and rainfall. Please underline temperature and rainfall. So the type of a soil or soil formation is highly affected because of the temperature and because of the rainfall. As Mariam said, if the region has lots high rainfall region, then the soil will completely different over there compared to a desert region, right? Now, weathering is affected by both these factors, which in turn affect the soil formation. Third reason is the topography. We had studied about topography. Do you all remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Topography or relief features, that is the slope, elevation, and the shape of the landscape affect soil formation. Please underline this. The slope, elevation, and the shape of landscape affect the soil formation. Areas that are hilly will have a different soil composition than that of a river plain. Do you all agree? For example, if there is a hilly region, the soil of the hilly region will be completely different as compared to the soil of the rivers, where you have rivers.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so please underline that. Next is availability of humus or organic material influences the fertility of the top soil, which is composed of humus along with mineral matter from the bedrock. So do you all know that certain soils have this quality of fertility, and there are certain soils where there is no fertility. Do you know that few soils or few regions have a lot of fertility? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so underline this availability of humus or organic material influences the fertility of the topsoil. Okay, the richness of the organic material determines the fertility of the soil. So the more the organic material is present in the particular soil, the more there will be the fertility. Okay, so please underline this. The richness of the organic material determines the fertility of the soil. Next is the agents of erosion. What do you think? Why erosion takes place? Natural, forces of erosion. Can you tell me which are the natural forces of erosion? Yes. Who will tell me which are the natural forces? How erosion naturally takes
Ma'am,
place?
wind and water.
Yes, due to wind and water. Erosion happens because of the wind. Erosion happens because of the water, the speed of the water. Yes. So these are also called as the agents of erosion, because they are the ones who are responsible for erosion. Okay. So agents of erosions like wind and water also transport and deposit particles from other areas which may enrich or reduce the fertility. Please underline this. Agents of erosion like wind or water, transport and deposit the particles, okay, from one place to the other place, okay, and because of that there is a reduction in the fertility. It may result in, you know, the growth of fertility or the reduction of the fertility. Have you understood? So whenever erosion takes place because of either wind or because of either water, what happens is it transports the materials, the particles from one place to the other place. And when it is transporting, so certain areas, there would be certain areas where it will, you know, result in developing the fertility of the soil, and there will be certain areas it would either result in the reduction of the fertility of the soil. Do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's understand with this with the help of an example. Yeah, please underline this: areas which may enrich or reduce the fertility. For example, the losses a dry, powdery, wind-blown soil deposited in northwest China has made this area very fertile. However, wind-blowing desert sands from the Thar deserts makes the surrounding farming regions lose their fertility. So both the examples they have given, okay? One example which resulted in increasing the fertility of the soil, and the other example which resulted in the loosening of the fertility of the soil. Which is the example? What is the example of where the fertility of the soil is increased?
Ma'am, the lose.
Okay, please underline. What happens? How the fertility is increased? Give me the complete answer. What happens? Who will give me the complete answer? Yes, children. Why the fertility increases in the
Ma'am,
nurses? Yes, yes, Mariam.
ma'am, the lose, ma'am, ma'am, it is a dry powder, ma'am, which is
Hmm.
blown by the wind, ma'am.
Hmm.
And and then it is deposited in the northwest China, ma'am. That made it fertile. So, ma'am, first
Right.
it was very dry, but when the wind transported into northwest China, it became fertile.
Fertile, very good. So this was the example of you know, a place becoming very fertile because of erosion. Now can you give me one example where the place became lost its fertility because of erosion?
And the winds blowing in the Thar desert, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Ma'am, they come from the farming regions, ma'am. But then when
Hmm.
the wind blows them to the Thar desert, they lose their fertility.
Who lose their fertility? Got it? Have you all understood till here, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll stop here